Most people are stuck not because success is hard, but actually because they overcomplicate the hell out of it. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the mindset, the habits, and the systems that are actually going to make success inevitable for you. And the truth is, it's actually probably way easier than you think. So let's dive into it. These are the exact systems that I've personally used, guys, to transform my life completely in just a few years. I was a waste of space. Then I was in a corporate job that I absolutely hated. Now I've completely changed my physique and my life. I've got an online business now based here in Dubai. We've transformed over 500 lives, and I've got the freedom to travel the world whenever I want. The first thing you really need to understand is that success is simpler than failure. Let that sink in. That's really, really important, because people really try and make things complex. And I'll be completely honest with you, like, this is something that I've struggled with in the past, really trying to complicate things. But success equals simplicity and failure equals complexity. By making things more complex, you're actually just making it harder for yourself. High performers, they don't do more, they do less, but they do it better. So cut the fluff out, guys. As I said, I've been guilty of this before, but if you're really going to be successful, what people do, if they're high performers, they strip away all the distractions, the low value tasks, all the things that are leaking their energy, making them feel more drained. They're not chasing these silly little hacks and stuff like this. They are removing friction for them to get to where they want to be. An example of this is most people as well, they'll try and add in more all the time, always more, 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 but we need to be thinking about doing better. So, some people, they think about, more strategies, more tools, more hacks, more books, all these types of things. But winners are actually going to subtract instead of adding. They're going to clear all that clutter. So all of the essential things that they need to do are shining, and they're really doubling down on it. So focus on what actually moves the needle. Think about what is that for you, and really just focus on that. That is really, really important to have that clarity. So yeah, winners remove friction, losers are going to add complexity, and they're just making life more difficult for themselves. Next up, stop talking, start doing. Everyone is talking about what they're going to do. I'm going to start training, I'm going to start building a business, or I'm going to start producing content. When this thing happens, I want to wake up earlier. But where are the results? Like, where are the results, guys? Nobody cares what you say. Execution is literally the only thing that matters. I've been there, to be honest with you, myself. I did a post on my Instagram the other day talking about how, that few years ago that we just went through on the other slide, I felt like I was lying to myself and other people. And this is exactly what it's all about. Stop talking about doing stuff and not doing it. You're just lying to yourself. You're lying to everyone around you. And it's really important to talk less and actually prove more. Like it says there, actually start doing the thing. Nothing's gonna do the thing except for you actually putting in the action steps required to get there. You don't get ahead by having better ideas than someone else. Every single person has got ideas. So, like, how many times someone's said to you, like, oh, this would be a really good idea, or I'd really like to do this in the future, and they never do it. And what do you internally think of them? You just think, oh, you're just talking a load of shit, but you're doing the exact same thing. So just remember this: talking, it's not about progress. It's actually doing the thing that's going to get you to where you want to be. You get ahead by doing more reps. It's the same in the gym. Like, you obviously are going to progress by doing the reps, not by talking about doing the reps. And just stop having, excuses, stuff like that. Just crack on with it, do the thing. That's how you're going to get ahead. It's not the ideas, it's actually the implementation. It sounds very simple. It really does, I know, but it's the harsh truth. And as I said, I've been there myself. You need to just start implementing, start taking action. It's going to make you feel so much better. So just have a think about that. What have you been procrastinating on right now? What do you need to do to get there? And just start taking action. Identity through lifestyle. This is another really important pillar, because it's not who you say you are, it's what you live and your day-to-day actions. Similar to the last slide, but in a different way. This is with a lifestyle and actually your habits and what you do on a day-to-day basis. Your physique, your sleep, your diet, your morning routine, your calendar, these are your real affirmations. People, obviously, I'm all for some of these, mindset methods, in terms of, visualizing, affirmations, these types of things. But These things are your real affirmations, guys. Like, don't call yourself disciplined if your phone screen time is like 6 hours a day or something stupid like that. Like, if you wake up, you hit snooze on your phone, and then you just sort of start scrolling on TikTok or some bullshit like that, like, that's not going to get you to where you want to be. Your body, your habits, your environment, they don't lie. They literally don't lie. Like, it literally is the foundation of who you are. You are not what you live, or what you post on Instagram or anything like that. These things here, they don't lie. The reflection when you look in the mirror, your morning routine, your screen time, who you spend your time with as well, where you spend your time, this is literally who you are. So I've been there as well. Same here. On the previous slides when I showed you those awful that awful photo of me, like, I've been there with not liking who I see in the mirror, or not having the best morning routine. But you need to change these things to change who you are. This is the foundation. Once I changed these things and started really focusing on them and actually putting a bit of attention on these areas and making improvements, that's when my life completely changed. So don't say you're committed if you skip workouts and you don't do your daily non-negotiables, and we're going to go through those daily non-negotiables in a couple of slides time. But yeah, if you want to upgrade your identity, guys, you need to upgrade your lifestyle. It's as simple as that. Like, your real affirmations are your actions, the things you do. If you want a better identity for yourself, you need to change your actual inputs. Next up is fasting, and what I mean by this, it's not just food. So that's why I put fasting beyond food. Fasting is going to give you clarity. It's not just the calories, but it's fasting from anything that clouds you, anything that clouds your clarity. So you need to fast from, in my opinion, alcohol most of the time. I don't drink alcohol at all, but you can't be drinking every single week. Like, that, if you want to really excel your life, you've got to mostly remove alcohol, maybe like once per month, I'd say maximum, but no more than that. It just completely wrecks you, clouds your vision. Same with junk food. Can't be eating shit every day. We want to mostly, like 85% of the time, be eating whole foods. Social media, only be following people that are giving you education. Make sure you're scrolling with intention. You're not just watching rubbish and getting these cheap dopamine hits of like cats running around, some bullshit like that, and just completely giving yourself a TikTok brain. We've got to cut that out and make sure, like, social media is a great tool, but make sure you're using it for the right stuff. Like this video, it's educational, whereas there's some rubbish on YouTube, like compilations of fails and gaming and all these types of things. Like, all that stuff's absolute rubbish. You need to cut that out. It's just giving you the cheap dopamine. Meaningless conversations, same thing. Cheap dopamine, gossiping, all these types of things. It just doesn't matter at all in your life. It's not going to get you to where you want to be. And some people, they fall into the traps of doing these and don't realize that they're happening. Just hopefully, like, that's the point in this video, is to give you a reminder to these things that you might have slipped back into. Energy drainers, like anything in your life that you feel like sucks energy away from you, we need to cut that out. Like, you really, like, people that are most like spiritually aligned with their goals and their vision, are people that really take their energy seriously. Like, anything that takes your energy away from you, you need to get rid of. Like, any tasks, anything like that. Obviously, if you're at the start of your entrepreneurial journey, then you're not going to be able to be as particular with that. There are some stuff that you need to do, but most of the things you do need to be giving you energy. Like, what's giving you energy, that's going to get you to where you want to be. So really focus on that. Negative people, don't be around anyone that's negative. There's no point in that. Obviously, some people, they give you criticism and they'll call you out and stuff, but that's not a negative person. They are a positive person that's trying to get you to where you want to be. That's an honest person. That's still a positive person. But anyone that's negative and has like a negative perception and outlook of life, just, we want to basically cut them out, essentially. And then poor environments that kill your momentum as well. That's really, really important one. Definitely stay away from those. When you remove the crap, what's left is actually focus, guys. And as I said, been there myself with all these areas. I used to drink so much alcohol, and I used to have junk food every week. I used to be scrolling on social media, watching rubbish, all this sort of stuff, being around toxic people, and I've cut all this stuff out, guys, and that's what's allowed me to scale my business, completely transform my life. So just realize this: you're not just bloated from food, it's not just the calories, you're bloated from overstimulation of all of these things. So try fasting from that noise, you know, the distraction, the shit company, you know. Clarity is performance. So once you've got that, that's when you're really going to get to where you want to be. Your environment, this is really important. Your environment's either going to feed your goals or it's going to feed your distractions. You need to make sure you're curating your environment in the way that's actually going to create your results. Like, this is so important. You need to edit your fridge, you need to edit your phone, you need to edit your friends list and your calendar. So with the fridge, clean that up, make sure you are giving yourself the best chance of achieving these things we've spoken about on the previous slides. On your phone, you know, it's the same with the environments, like what phone apps do you have, like what phone apps you have visible, like where are they placed on your phone, like which ones do you see first, all of this stuff. Like, if you can create your environment in this way, it's going to make everything we've spoken about before so much easier. Like with your friends list, like people you follow on social media, are you following people who are aspiring and are inspiring you to get to where you want to be, or on the same mission as you? Or are you following people who's just draining you and sucking your energy? Your calendar, like, are you muting your notifications? Are you editing your calendar in the right way to actually get you to where you want to be with the non-negotiables that we're going to go through in a couple of slides time? Like, success becomes automatic. It really does when your environment is engineered in a way for it. You are a product of your environment. It's as simple as that. And I've been there with the shit environment. And once you actually curate your environment in the way, you know, that you need to align with your vision, it's where you see such a big improvement with progress straight away. If your phone, your food, your friends are at that mid level, like, you're going to be too. I'm not saying cut off all your friends and family and stuff like that, but the people that you mostly surround yourself with are such a big indication of where you're going to end up. So that's super important. Make sure you're setting those boundaries and just build the systems and the surroundings that are going to remove the option to fail. Okay, so daily high impact habits. These are the non-negotiables that I've been speaking about. If you do these daily, guys, success is going to become inevitable. I can promise you that. Like, this is why I've called it the JH6 Freedom Formula, because these are like the 6 things that are non-negotiable for me to unlock that freedom. Not just, you know, financial freedom, but mental freedom, locational freedom, time freedom. Like, that's what this is all about, and this is going to align you with your purpose. So these are the 6 things. 5 a.m. wake up, really important. Like, these habits, they're boring, guys. To some people they seem boring, but they win. Like, if you do these, you're going to have an unfair advantage. Like, I can promise you that. So the 5 a.m. wake up, really important. Just getting ahead of everyone. Doesn't need to be 5 a.m. like straight away, but just earlier than you get up. You know, I'm not saying that you need to have shit sleep. I'm definitely all for having enough sleep. Make sure you go to bed early enough to align with this and give you that 7 hours, that 8 hours that you personally need. But it can be earlier than this. I know a lot of people like to wake up early, but I personally am in bed by like 9 so that I can wake up at 5 and get this deep work block that I'm going to be talking about in a second, you know, underway before the day started. This is when I sort of find that my best work's done. And then visualize, align. You need to make sure you're visualizing your goals, doing a visualization and aligning yourself with that future version to make sure that your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions are aligning with that future version of yourself, because you need to become the person that is at your goals before you actually achieve them. That's how you're going to get there. So that's a really important step that a lot of people miss out. Then you need to do one high leverage, deep work task. Obviously, to make success inevitable, this task needs to be the right thing and you need to be focusing on the right areas. Of course it does. But if you've got the right focus and you're doing the right thing, this one high leverage, deep work task is going to completely transform your life. And that's why I love waking up at 5 a.m. to do all this stuff. You know, everything's quiet, you know, no one's bothering you, and you're at your most aligned state, and you can just crack on with a high leverage task. And once you've done that, you know you're going to get to where you want to be. Like, it's as simple as that. So that's super powerful. And then obviously the foundations: training hard, eating clean most of the time, 30 minutes learning. So this can be watching a YouTube video, listening to an audiobook. People that are high performers that have done what you want to do, they're the only sort of people that you want to be listening to and that would count for this learning. So I do like way more than this. I'll be listening to audiobooks like when I'm doing, when I'm like at the gym, when I'm on my walks and stuff like that. But 30 minutes, definitely non-negotiable. And in actually learning things that are going to get you to where you want to be and changing your mindset as well, not just necessarily little tactics and strategies, but like learning how people think, listening to high performers, whether it's sport, mindset, business, just understanding how these guys operate. And then you want to plan tomorrow as well. So you need to make sure you plan the next day before it starts. So you wake up, you do your 5 a.m. wake up, you visualize, you align, and you're not even thinking about, oh, what am I doing now? You already know what you're doing because you've planned it the day before. So you do this stuff, you get stuck straight into your deep work task, and then you've absolutely smashed it then. Like you've won the day, and these are the daily habits that add up over time. So if you know what you're going to be doing the next day and that it's going to get you to where you want to be in your vision, then you don't have any clutter, you don't have to look at all your tasks and stuff. You can just enter that deep work task when you're in your most aligned state. So those 6 are really, really important. And they're an absolute foundation if you're wanting that freedom in all areas that I was speaking about. And if we just look here at the behaviors of the high performers, this is what I've found, high performers actually have for their behaviors. They prioritize based upon leverage. So that's what we've got there with making sure we're doing the deep work task and planning for tomorrow. The execution, obviously making sure we're doing all this stuff, doing the daily habits, the visualizing, the deep work task, the foundations, the energy optimization. That's why they make sure they plan tomorrow. That's why they wake up at this time, the early time. The vision, obviously that's why we're visualizing and aligning. Feedback loops, that's why it's important to plan tomorrow. And also the weekly reflection there at the bottom that I'm going to go through in a sec. And then the learning. So that's why we've got the 30 minutes learning in there with whatever format it is. Reading, obviously, as well. That's an obvious one. I didn't touch on that, but reading's a really great option for you as well. So yeah, those are the behaviors, and that's why we've got these habits here. So you can see where they've come from. And then the weekly reflection, this is absolutely essential on that more wider basis to make sure that the week's gone well, any challenges that you've had, and then tweaking things going into the next week. It's like that planning for tomorrow, but it's planning for the whole next week on that wider scale, and it really gives you that clarity. That's for another video, that weekly reflection. But if you want the questions that I ask myself and the metrics that we look at, then just reach out to me on Instagram at JackHartFitness, and I can send you over that. And one other thing before we go away from these daily habits, please do tell yourself and remember that you do not need 12 hours to win. You need 1 hour of intentionality. Like 1 hour of intention massively beats 12 hours of just distracted work and stuff that's not actually going to get you to where you want to be. So just remember that. Like a lot of people, if you are still in a job and you don't have like 12 hours a day to work or anything like that, you can make massive shifts if you're focusing on the right high leverage task and you're spending that time wisely and you're visualizing and everything else we've spoken about. So just remember that this can be very, very powerful if used in the right way. Proximity to performance. You are the average of your inputs. This is a simple fact of your environment. If you want to go further, faster, you need to invest in better people. You need to be surrounded by high standards. High performers are going to surround themselves with accountability, with belief, with vision. You're surrounded by people who know that big things are possible. This means basically mentors, masterminds, communities, group chats with real people that have actually done what you want to do or are striving to do what you also want to do. Like when everyone is around you and they're leveling up, so do you. Like you're a product of your environment. So do not underestimate proximity to people that are giving you advice. This is probably one of the biggest things. Like you can have all the tactics and stuff, but if you don't have the belief that you're going to get to where you want to be, then it's not going to be possible. Your subconscious is not going to be aligned with that. If you are around people like this, you're going to raise your standards just by sort of like keeping up with them. So I've been there with not very good sort of environments in terms of like the groups that I've been in. But when I actually invest in myself and have more expert mentors, people that have actually done what I want to do, rather than just settling for some sort of shitty course or something like that, when I actually invest in someone that's done what I want to do and has the systems for me to get there, that's when you not just unlock the knowledge, but you unlock that belief in yourself, and you really borrow the momentum from them as well. Like, they believe in you, they know it's possible for you, they've done it, so they know it's possible, they have no doubt about that. So you really get that belief from them as well as the knowledge. So that's something as well, that proximity, always something to be thinking about. So the ego, do not flex high standards that you do not live by. Like, if you want to say you have high standards, you need to prove it. Don't flex something that you don't actually live by. The goal isn't just to like look successful, it's to actually become the kind of person who makes success predictable. So validation does not equal transformation. So many people are just seeking that validation. So you really need to check your dopamine habits. Like, even if it's just you're saying you're going to do something, like that's giving you that cheap dopamine hit. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. People go, oh yeah, that's amazing. You tell someone you can do something great, they give you that dopamine hit by telling you how great that is. And then you don't actually go and do the thing to get the dopamine hit. You need to stop saying you're going to do stuff and then get the dopamine hit from actually doing the thing. Hopefully that makes sense for you. That's a really important concept, not getting those cheap dopamine hits. You need to check your standards, and then you can check your results. Like, you need to have those standards in place, and then you can see the results. Like, it's not the other way around. You don't just get the results and then somehow get the standards. It starts all there with the standards. So if they don't match, you need to adjust very, very quickly. So stop flexing potential and start actually living with performance. Stop saying you're going to do something. You don't have high standards if your day is just full of low standard actions. It's you just need to be brutally honest with yourself. Success is when your ego actually gets out of the way fully. So just to wrap up for you guys, the truth is it's never been easier to get ahead, because most people are stuck. They are stuck like I was, overcomplicating things, overthinking and underperforming. If you can just strip it back, simplify your environment, simplify your habits, simplify your standards, suddenly you're going to be winning whilst everyone is still just talking about what they're going to do. Getting ahead is simple. It really is easy, because most people, they won't do the boring stuff. They won't do the 6 habits that we were speaking about earlier with the freedom formula. Like, no one's going to do that. No one's going to be consistent with it. Well, most people aren't, apart from you. So most people aren't going to do it. But simplify, systemize, and then stick to it. If you can simplify your life, then success is going to become automatic, like we said earlier, and just strip away everything that doesn't serve you. You've got this vision, make sure everything is aligned with that. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. And if you want to know how to build your own 10K per month coaching business and just copy everything that I did and get there faster, I'm going to link the video somewhere around here. So go and have a look at that. But other than that, guys, it has been a pleasure. I will see you in the next video.